Republican Congressman Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin serves on the House Armed Services and Homeland Security Committees. Great guest to have on this. Thank you for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, the president didn't say he wasn't going to prepare at all, but he did compare it to he's going to be ready to negotiate. What do you make, first of all, of his comments?
Well, certainly no one is expecting the president to master the details of uranium enrichment and reprocessing, but I think he does have to be prepared to deliver a simple yet forceful message, which is to say to Kim Jong-un, you have two options, right? Behind door number one lies more pain and suffering for you and your people and ultimately the collapse of your regime. Behind door number two lies peace and prosperity if indeed you are willing to fully dismantle, commit to complete, verifiable and irreversible dismantlement. From everything I've seen, I think the president and his team are prepared to deliver that message, and I wish them the best in doing so.
The president kind of went with a carrot and stick approach, if you will, with this. If things go well, I'll bring you to the White House, let's hang out and deepen our understanding of one another, is my paraphrase of that, or the stick. I mean, this could hurt 300 additional sanctions. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's encouraging to hear them talk about being willing to impose more pressure on the regime. I think it's important that the White House in general and the president in particular be prepared to walk away if necessary. I think part of the reason we negotiated to such a bad position with the Iran deal is that it was obvious to everybody that Obama was desperate for a deal and would not walk away. And if you want a deal badly enough, you're going to get a very bad deal. So I hope we communicate to the North Koreans that we will walk away if indeed they are not serious about this.
A couple of observations. This comes after a meeting with Japan's leader Shinzo Abe, and we know that Abe wanted the president to be tougher in the maximum pressure zone. So now we learn that the flip of coming to the White House will be 300 additional sanctions if the talks fail. But I don't want anybody to miss what the president is doing here, and I want you to kind of fill in the blanks too. The president isn't simply saying he'll walk away. It's going to hurt when he walks away.
Sure, and I believe we've only begun to scratch the surface in terms of what we can do with our allies like the Japanese to turn up the pressure, not just on the North Koreans, but on the Chinese. I think it would be a good idea for the Treasury Department, for example, to begin to send letters of inquiry to certain large Chinese banks that I believe are engaged in money laundering and evading sanctions on North Korea right now. I think it would be interesting also to begin a discussion with the Japanese on a joint program for perhaps boost phase intercept development technology right now. And so that's along with me saying there is much more we can do. We have many options right now. And so if we find out next week that Kim Jong-un is playing us, we can walk away and we can start to really turn up the pressure.
Interesting. All right, now here's where you come into play even more substantively. The Secretary of State has said that he sees the administration wanting Congress to have a say in any sort of a nuclear deal. Let's watch Mike Pompeo.